So what are the key takeaways here from this lesson? Well, horizontal asymptotes, really the formal definition of them is this idea of describing the end behavior of a graph, not just a line that the function doesn't cross or doesn't touch, really describing the end behavior of the graph, and they can be found by taking the limit as x approaches infinity of f of x, and we do have to also consider the limit as x approaches negative infinity of our function f of x. And we saw some couple of examples there in that previous video where these two values are actually different, and so we have two different values for horizontal asymptotes. We use those basic building blocks to kind of help us visualize and analyze what was happening with functions. We said that the limit as x approaches infinity of 1 over x to the n, that was equal to 0 for all n greater than 0. So x to any power besides 0, and it does have to be a positive value. Negative exponents do different things. But if I have 1 over x to some sort of positive value, then the function is going towards 0. And the same is also true for the limit as x approaches negative infinity of 1 over x to the n. That also equals 0 for all n greater than 0. And again, we have the idea that so long as x to the n is defined for all x. And we saw some examples, for example, 1 over the square root of x, where we couldn't say this. So x to the n does have to be defined for all x. And then really the last idea, just kind of this intuitive strategy that you develop as you look for these, the idea that horizontal asymptotes can be found by analyzing the powers of a rational function that are really the parts that are in control, that are controlling the numerator and the denominator. And we saw some examples of that today where really we were able to focus in, because of the nature of the infinite behavior, we could really focus in and establish what part of the function in the numerator and what part of the denominator were really controlling that function, and it made evaluating that limit fairly simple. So remember, this right here is the definition of a horizontal asymptote as x approaches infinity or as x approaches negative infinity. These statements are true for all the various types of 1 over x to whatever power we can generate. And really it does come down to focusing on the highest power, or the controlling power maybe is a better way to think of it if we go to negative infinity. That controlling power in the numerator and the denominator to analyze where the horizontal asymptotes are.